Up Paleo, where we talk all things nutrition straight up. I'm one of your hosts, Christina Rice. I'm a holistic health coach, nutritional therapy practitioner in training, and the creator of the Paleo Women Lifestyle Program. You can find me on my website and blog, ChristinaRiceWellness.com, as well as on my other podcast, Wellness Realness.
And I'm your other host, Kara Halderman. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner from Dallas, Texas, NLP master practitioner and mindset coach, and creator of careaboutit.com. In this podcast, we'll be discussing all things paleo, health, and nutrition, along with answering questions straight from you.
If you'd like to submit a question for us to answer on the podcast, head to straightuppaleo.com or email us at straightuppaleo@gmail.com.
Remember our disclaimer. Materials in this podcast are only to be used as advice and are not to be used in place of general medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
If you want to support the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a rating and a review on iTunes. Enjoy the show! Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast. Today we're joined by a fabulous guest, Kelly Scott.
Hey, y'all.
I love the fact that you say y'all. It's the best.
I gotta bring the Southerner in. Christina's kind of catching on.
I know I keep saying it accidentally and I feel lame. I feel like when you guys say it, I love when you say it because you can say it because you're, it makes sense. But when I say it, I sound like a poser.
I don't know. I'm a firm believer that anyone can say y'all because it's just, that's how it is. Texas people.
I mean, it's so much easier than you guys.
Yeah.
And y'all can just be anyone. It could be 2 people, 500. So just embrace it.
Well, if you guys think it's okay that I say it, then I feel better about it. I just don't want to, encroach on your y'all ownership. But sorry, guys, we're all sharing a mic. We're sitting here right now in an Airbnb in Dallas. Well, outside of Dallas. We're in Plano, right?
Yeah, we're in Plano, Texas, P-Town. If you're from Dallas, you know how it is.
Yeah, we're in this really nice Airbnb, and we've just been cooking all weekend, and I don't know. We went to the gun range. What else did we do?
Okay, we went to the gun range. If you're in Dallas and you know these places, we went to White Rock Lake, took a nice walk around there. We went to HG Supply, and Christina and Kelly were basically dying because of the food they got. Kelly,
They were, oh my God, best meal of my life. We had a duck confit and this cauliflower grits, and I don't even know how they did it. It tasted like real grits.
Yeah. I could have sworn there was butter in there.
It tasted so buttery and amazing.
But that's how you know, our taste buds, I'll speak for myself. My taste buds have changed so much that something random, I'm like, coconut milk tastes like butter to me. It doesn't actually, but you know what I mean? Weird things will taste like something completely different to me at this point, so.
No, yeah, we were talking about that. And this morning we had cinnamon roasted veggie bowls, and we're all like, it tastes like candy. Yeah. Oh, and Kelly has given up nut butters for Lent. Forever, right?
Yeah, nut butters are my crack. I make them religiously, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give them up for Lent. So this morning was the best day of my life. I was in heaven.
And she brought us gingerbread pecan butter, and it was crack. She's incredible. If you guys want a nut butter, hit up Kelly's.
You guys, okay, I realize how fascinating of a human Kelly is. If you don't know who she's sitting here laughing at that I just said that. I don't think she understands. She's really fascinating. I kind of just want you to give a little blurb. What do you do? For people who don't know you.
So I'm from South Carolina. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I'm basically a paleo chef. Not a chef yet, but I'm going to be. So I make all paleo goods. I'm going to culinary school and love everything nutrition.
Yay. I'm happy you shared that. And where are you going to culinary school?
I'm going to Culinary Institute of America in Napa in May. So I'm really excited.
Kelly also has a side gig as a model. She's in New York Fashion Week, and she's 6 feet tall and fabulous. She showed us her runway walk. She works it. Yeah. So tell people when you started modeling and how that happened.
So I started modeling 2 years ago for fun. and I started in Atlanta, and now I've been in New York and Milan. And so I just do it for fun because I honestly get a lot of free food and free traveling.
Pretty smart. She has a lot of scary stories, which we'll have to get into later, but I don't think we'll have time today. But also, so Kelly became our intern. When did you become our intern? I don't even remember.
I think it was November, December, something like that, a few months.
Okay. Yeah, so Kelly became our intern, and honestly, Kara and I could not do this podcast without her, you guys. So we just love her and adore her, and you guys need to show her some love too, because this podcast would not happen without Kelly. I keep wanting to say without Kelly's Clean Kitchen. That's her Instagram. Go follow her at Kelly's Clean Kitchen on the gram. But Kelly, okay, you have a very long and involved health history. Can you give us, why don't you just like tell people about how you found paleo, kind of your health history, what got you interested in all this stuff? Why were you even following us to begin with? And then why did you want to become the intern? So I'll give you the floor.
So long story short is I was a college D1 volleyball player, and I always thought I was like super healthy and stuff, but I was like, eating the American diet. And then my sophomore year of college, I got a really bad brain injury, and it just took me out of doing anything. Like I could barely walk, essentially. What happened? I got hit in the head with a volleyball, and yes, volleyballs are hard, especially when they're coming at you.
Was it coming at you fast or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming at you like 100 miles an hour. Like people can like die. You can die if you get hit in the head. Yeah.
Dude, I've been hit in the face with a volleyball, but it was like, oh, I just got hit in the face, and that was it. But
it probably wasn't a real volleyball player spiking it. Like it is that. It hurt.
It was bad. It was like it knocked me out.
In a temple, you'll die.
That's where I got hit. Yeah, and basically your brain just like ricochets inside of your head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I got that, and I was like basically lost my identity because I was like known as a volleyball player my whole life. I was like super good. And so I was like, what do I do with my life now? So I was like, I'm going to get healthy. And I just became obsessed and a perfectionist, and definitely had orthorexic tendencies, and we just like went way overboard and thought I was being healthy, eating all like the low fats, like low calorie, counting calories for no reason.
Where were you learning your health information from? Like, how were you trying to figure out, where are you going to figure out what was healthy?
I was like following the quote healthy bloggers, or like the healthy tips that you just like Google online and you think are healthy. Like the workouts were just like way too intense, like once I was able to work out again, and for no like big reason.
But were you feeling good while you were doing this in the beginning, or were you never really feeling good while you were eating like that?
Oh, in the beginning I was feeling good, and I was like, oh, this is nice. Like I wasn't eating pizza and stuff anymore. So like obviously at first you feel really good. And then you start like losing weight, and you're like, oh, this looks good. And so, but then suddenly you look and you're like, whoa, what happened to me? And at the same time, I was also, without my knowledge, struggling from a thyroid disease because it runs in my family. So like it was like double whammy of like under eating, over exercising, and having a thyroid disease that I didn't know about. So then once I decided to like get better, get my thyroid under control, it was like a hot mess of like eating, like stuffing my face to try to like gain the weight back and get healthy again. And once you're like in that situation, it's hard to come back from.
And how did you find paleo?
I think I just like randomly came across it after like I started cooking and really liking cooking. I started getting healthy cookbooks, and a lot of them were paleo. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And so I like gave up gluten and dairy, and I was like, wow, I feel way better. I have way more energy.
What differences did you notice besides energy?
It was I could eat like things that were like fulfilling, and they like sat well with me for once. And honestly, I had such bad brain fog, and now it's just like totally different and clear.
So were you still having these orthorexic type tendencies when you were paleo, or was that after you kind of got over that?
I mean, it took a while to like get over it. So I was like transitioning. When I started to become paleo and get my thyroid fixed, it was definitely transitioning out of being so obsessed with that stuff. But it was like a long journey to get over all of those practices.
Do you think paleo affected your ability to recover from orthorexia? And like, did it help or did it hurt? Either way, or both, or nothing?
I think it definitely helped because I always wanted to recover in a way that was healthy. And people were telling me, oh, just eat a cheeseburger. And I'm like, that's not going to get me healthy and fix the problems. So paleo like taught me how to eat whatever I want, essentially, because it's like really freeing to be able to eat paleo and not worry about, calories or anything, because what you're eating is healthy.
Yeah, I really love that you said that, because there's this big misconception that if you're recovering from any sort of eating disorder tendencies that you have to go in and eat everything. But really, if you have like the correct mindset, like you said, you wanted to get healthy in a healthy way. Like you wanted to come out of this being a healthier person. I think adopting something like paleo or just even like a real foods lifestyle can help you progress out of that. But I think it's really fascinating that it didn't make you like restrict more. You know what I mean? Or did it at all at any point?
No, at no time did I ever feel restricted with paleo. Especially once you start, you feel so much better that you don't want to eat the things that you're eating before. Because like I would go back and if I got glutened, I would feel so bad for like a day and feel like I have a flu. Or even having too much sugar, I feel like ill. And I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. Even though it tastes good for 5 minutes, I like feeling like amazing, having enough energy, and also eating like all the great food. Because you can make anything paleo, and it can be just as good, if not better, in my opinion.
Hell yeah. And when Kelly makes it, it's better. The other thing is you've also toyed with different types of paleo with different macronutrient ratios as well. Briefly, like what have you tried and what have you found works best for you?
So I think I've probably done it all except like super high protein. So I've gone through phases where I tried more low carb because I've always liked sweet potatoes. But when the whole keto thing blew up, I was like, oh, maybe I should just eat more vegetables and more fats. But then my energy just like turned to crap. And I was like, well, no, I'd bring back the sweet potatoes ASAP. And now I have one like every day. I can't live without it. And then I've also done too high like fat where it just hurts my stomach. So right now I really like the happy balance of just like whatever I crave, which is usually just like a lot of protein, lots of fats, and all the veggies.
Have you gone too high carb on paleo? Like, have you done that?
I honestly don't think that's possible on paleo. Like, unless you're eating just straight up sweet potatoes and that's it, I don't think it's possible because it's like so low calorie that you like would have to eat so much and so much of nothing else.
Okay, yeah. Well, people don't understand that like paleo kind of is automatically low carb, but there's the type of paleo where like when I started out paleo, I was eating fruit smoothies like for breakfast, sweet potatoes for lunch and dinner, like making treats, like all that stuff, and that would be kind of considered, high carb paleo, and you're not eating enough protein and fat. So I didn't know if you went through that phase when you first started, or did you always have more of a balanced approach?
I think I had definitely more of a balance because I wanted to focus on more of the vegetables and the good proteins, like the grass-fed, organic. And I just like eating foods that made me feel good. Like fruit, I have every now and then, and it tastes good, but I don't have like those huge smoothies that are filled with all kinds of fruits and like potatoes and stuff, because afterwards I could take like a 5-hour nap.
I think also because because Kara's right, a lot of people will do that where it's super high carb, but it's usually because they're excluding other macronutrients. So maybe they're not focusing on protein and or fat, like they're usually afraid of one of the other ones. But Kelly is someone who eats all of them. So if you're including all of them, it's kind of hard to, because you wouldn't be having just like 5 bananas with your big chunk of protein, with your big chunk of fats, right? But speaking of high quality food, right? And also high quality meat. We need to talk about our sponsor for this week, Thrive Market, which if you guys haven't heard, they are now delivering seafood and meat to your door. So you could get everything from Thrive Market in addition to all your regular groceries. Kelly loves Thrive. Why don't you tell us why you love Thrive, Kelly?
Well, I live in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not kidding. I go grocery shopping an hour away. And so Thrive is so nice because I can get all these things that I cannot get in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, right to my door. And it's actually affordable. I have Amazon too, but they have way more products than Amazon has that are way cheaper too.
Yeah, totally. And you can also go to thrivemarket.com/straight up paleo if you want to get our offer of $60 worth of free organic groceries. You guys, that's a lot. I just ordered my Thrive Market box and I think I paid $54. And by the way, it's free shipping on orders of $49 or more. And I got a whole bunch of products. I got my pantry staples, organic coconut milk that has a whole bunch of zero gums, which is amazing. Yeah. I also got their Thrive Market granola. If you're obsessed with granola but tired of paying $10 for a bag, their Thrive Market granola is half of the price.
I also got their coconut wraps and I realized, so I was telling my friend this, she was like, I really want a PB&J. And I was like, what you do is you take the coconut wrap, you smother some almond butter in there, and you can either just smash some berries if you have them, or if you have jam, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you make a PB&J with a Thrive coconut wrap. Yeah.
Did you ever use a tortilla and roll it up with peanut butter and jelly? Yes. That was my ish.
Exactly. So Thrive is amazing also because you can totally filter the catalog by your values and your dietary preferences. So even if you're not paleo, you could go and search for gluten-free, vegan, kosher, keto, paleo, obviously. And then it'll just filter all of the results out and show you the most popular items. And that's one of my favorite ways to find new products. You can just kind of scroll around on there. And they also have a lot of things besides just food. I got a ton of different household items. I got some dryer sheets that are non-toxic, and I got some shower cleaner. There's just a bunch of different things. And they even have non-toxic makeup, which is amazing.
Yeah, my cart is filled right now with a bunch of different, cleansers and skincare, because I'm really trying my best to switch everything over to non-toxic. And when you go to Whole Foods and you look in the section for non-toxic beauty, you can kind of get overwhelmed because it's really expensive. But Thrive Market has pretty much everyday low prices, and it can be up to 25 to 50% off, and always beats the competition, basically always beats Whole Foods. So I stock up whenever I can. And I just think it's a really good way to save money. And if you're in the situation like Kelly is, you're in the middle of nowhere, or you have Whole Foods is so far away, it's an amazing option.
Yeah, you really don't even need to go to the store anymore, especially now that they have the seafood and the meat, the chicken and the fish. Also, another thing I really like is that the packaging is really, really good. So they package this really well, and nothing will break, I promise you, because I've gotten things delivered from Amazon and they're broken when I get them. So it's packaged really well, and everything is completely recyclable, and nobody else is doing that. So it's good for the environment too, zero waste, and I just love it.
Yeah. And I really like it too, because everyone thinks, healthy living is really expensive. But with Thrive, they have such low cuts on prices and stuff that it's affordable. And it's actually cheaper than a lot of the items you can find in your grocery stores.
Yep. So once again, if you want to get $60 worth of free organic groceries from Thrive Market, please use our link. It is thrivemarket.com/straight up paleo. You guys, you will not be disappointed.
You definitely won't. It's so good. And let's talk a little bit about what we ate this weekend. Also, while we're talking about food. So, okay, first night in. Well, when Kelly got in, I got in a little bit early. But Kara made this amazing barbacoa. It was amazing. Why don't you can elaborate?
So I feel like Christina brought this up. There's this misconception about words like barbacoa and carnitas. They think that barbacoa and carnitas is just shredded meat, basically. But guys, it involves a sauce. It has certain flavorings to it. So the barbacoa, it totally was not my recipe. I took one. It's from Against All Grain, her book Meals Made Simple. I kind of adapted it because Christina is a wimp and can't handle spice.
Also, you guys, if you guys don't follow Danielle Walker, you need to. She is incredible. Just had to put that out there.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's actually the first person I ever saw like in the paleo world. So I'm obsessed with her, and her recipes are always great. So it's basically you just put whatever cut of meat into a crock pot and you blend this sauce with dried chilies and tomato paste, apple cider vinegar, tons of spices like cumin, and it just like falls apart. And we made basically Chipotle bowls with cauli rice and peppers, and it's my dream meal. Like, don't you love Mexican food, Kelly?
Mexican food is my life. It literally put peppers, sauces on meats, anything over like cauliflower rice. And we had sweet potatoes. Like, it was a dream.
So you guys, my birthday is on Friday, and I told Kara and Kelly that like what I wanted them to do for me for a birthday was just basically be my chefs for the weekend, because I'm just so lucky that two of my best friends are paleo chefs. You guys are crazy. So they definitely delivered. So that was dinner first night. Next day, what did we do? We had salmon. Oh yeah, we had salmon and roasted Romanesco, obviously, some mushrooms, greens, very good. And then we walked around White Rock Lake, which was very windy and resistance training at its finest.
My hair was a serious knot. It was terrible.
The bridge may or may not need rebuilding. Be careful if you go there.
It was literally like bouncing up and down. I thought, oh my God, I thought it was going to break. Then we went to Brood and Press and had a meetup. Yeah. And it was so nice to meet the women who came. It was so sweet of them. One girl, Annie, drove 2 hours to see us.
Oh my God. Like, and she was the sweetest girl ever. She's from Tyler, Texas, a little small town. And I can't believe that she drove that far. And it was just cool to see all of the other girls that I've been previously messaging with that I know live in Dallas. And it's good to see them in person, even though when I saw them, I was like, who are you? It's hard to like connect the Instagram faces with who you are in real life, you know?
It's really nice to meet people in real life. So we got some lattes. I got an adaptogen latte that was, it tastes like dirt, but I thought it tasted really good. Then we went to HG Supply and got that delicious duck, and Kara got lamb meatballs with curry, and it was amazing. And then we went to the gun range, and
I need to know your thoughts on the gun range.
Do you have thoughts, Kelly?
I mean, I love it. I'm from the South, so guns are like normal. I've been shooting before, I've kind of been hunting, so it was a lot of fun.
Low-key. It was my first time ever doing that, and I was really happy because I told Kara I've always wanted to I've always wanted to know how to shoot a gun, just in case someone comes into my house to try and murder me and I somehow kick their gun out of their hand, pick it up, and like, I want them to know that I know what I'm doing, whatever.
Well, I'm a firm believer that people should have their own guns for self-protection purposes. So I think we should. We're not getting into that. Just saying, like, I think you should just have one so you know how to shoot. But I just want to say Christina killed it. She even though she couldn't see through the eye hole of this one gun, like my dad has this one gun that has like a laser thingy, and she's like, I just can't see it. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand, but whatever. She freaking killed it, and she took it like a champ. So I was like super proud of her.
I was proud of myself because I knew there was going to be a big kickback, and I was like, okay, brace yourself. Like, you gotta stand firm, because I feel like I fall over so easily from things. Like, I'm small, like I just fall over, but I did it. Yeah.
And like Kelly over here looks like doesn't even phase her. She just picks up the gun. She goes, boom. She looks back at me, and she was just like shrugs her shoulders. And I was like, what? Like, doesn't even look like it phased her at all.
If only I hit the target, that would have been nice.
Wait, and then also I got hit in the face with a casing, and I feel like such a badass, but there was this guy next to us who I straight up was shooting explosive devices. The whole place was booming.
It was terrifying. Like, I'm pretty sure it echoed in my ears for the whole night, and it was literally exploding. It looked like a civil war next to us.
And then the weirdest thing, okay, it's not weird, but like when you come out of the gun range, you have to wash your hands with this soap, and it's like heavy metal detoxing soap, I guess. And I was like, I just want to drink this to get all the heavy metal. Don't drink it. No, disclaimer, never drink that soap. Okay, but we went with my dad, who is a character in his own, and we never debriefed from that night. So like, quick debrief. What were your thoughts on what we did last night and the food we ate?
First of all, the food was amazing. Her dad made this, like, what was it called? Salisbury steak? I don't even.
It's called Salisbury steak, which is basically like, okay, so
A lumpy burger.
it looked like a turd. I'm sorry, Dad. It looked like a turd. I love you. But okay.
It has gravy on it with mushrooms. It's just like ground meat that's in the shape of a turd.
Okay, it's like a Salisbury steak was this thing when people didn't have money to have steak. So they shaped ground beef into steak shape and then they baked it and smothered it in gravy. But now, yeah, they just looked like turds. Basically.
Yeah, they're really good.
It was awesome though. And her dad has all of these like healthy supplements and ingredients. And I was learning so much by just looking at his pantry and all of his kitchen gadgets. And it was so good. We had it with like coconut aminos and stir fry and like all the good things.
The biggest stir fry ever. And they also have hypoallergenic cats, which I was really into. But yeah, so we did that. And then we did some tarot card readings that were really, really on point. It's freaking me out still. I ended up sent a picture to my friend who reads my cards, and I don't have words.
Yeah, they were like really cool. I've never done it before, but the way Kara and her dad explained it, it's just like your subconscious and like getting in touch with your like spirits and energies. If you like want to know more about that, Kara's like so knowledgeable. You should check it out. It was super cool.
Yeah, people think that tarot cards are magic, but they're actually not. It's your subconscious mind actually picking out the best choices for you and putting them in card representation. So they're not magic or anything like that, but it helps you like see what's going on in the back of your head and you can make like the best options. But they were, for all three of us, like I was reading out some of those descriptions of the cards and I was like, holy crap, I don't even know what you guys are thinking about, but this is true. Like,
yeah, I think we all knew. When we were all listening to each other's cards, we like all knew what was going on.
Yeah, basically. And we did some energy clearing. We did some fun stuff with metaphors. Like I made them draw this picture. It's supposed to be like a metaphor for your past, present, future. It's all this stuff that I learned basically. And they got to see my weirdness.
It was a lot of fun. So shout out to Kara's dad for being a character and cooking really good food. That was epic. But I have to talk about the fact that I'm obsessed with this Airbnb and I just never want to leave. We have cable, so I freaked out. And I have been getting the best sleep since I feel so rested. Like, I don't usually feel this rested when I go on vacation. But you know why? Because I brought my Somnifix. Kelly, what do you think of Somnifix?
You know, I like it, but I do have the problem, not going to lie, of ripping it off in the middle of the night. Something possesses me. But one time I did sleep through the night with it, which is very rare because I always get up to pee and it's so annoying. And Somnifix can help that problem because it keeps you in a deep sleep. And it's just a blessing on your sleep if that will help you.
Yeah, there is an acclimation period for a lot of people where, you know, you're just not used to having something on your mouth. Like that's weird when you think about it when you're sleeping. So you may wake up in the middle of the night and you may rip it off. It took me personally about 2 weeks, but honestly, that 2 weeks is so worth it because after that, you almost can't sleep without it. Yeah. Like, I'm out of my box now. I actually just used my last one last night and I'm pretty much depressed because I've been getting the best sleep ever. When you breathe out of your nose when you're sleeping, you're in a more parasympathetic state. You are more relaxed and you're actually able to dip into those phases of deeper sleep instead of just hovering in light sleep. And that's probably why a lot of people, they wake up in the morning and they're like, I still feel exhausted because they haven't been dipping into their, REM sleep, deep sleep cycle. So if you're a mouth breather, you can't do that. You have to breathe through your nose. And that's why Somnifix has, their mouth tape and it's all hypoallergenic and has a little vent over the mouth. So you're not going to suffocate or anything like that. And it's actually super comfortable. Once you get used to it, you barely even notice it's there.
Yeah. So if you haven't hopped on the mouth taping train yet, I highly recommend. I also recently published, I guess I'm biased, but I think it was a really good blog post about mouth taping. It's like very in depth if you want to learn all about the benefits. And I've had a few readers say that they just sent it to their family or friends explain it. So if you're trying to get someone else to do this and you just want to convince them, just send them that link so they can read all about it. And because it goes beyond just sleeping, there have been so many studies showing the benefits in terms of your daily life, because it can help with your immunity. It can help with athletic performance. It helps with memory, concentration, focus during the day, because it really helps improve your production of nitric oxide. Very interesting. So you can read all of that on there. So definitely check out Somnifix. You can use the code SUPSLEEP, SUPSLEEP, for 10% off. You can buy it through Amazon, or if you go to somnifix.com, it'll just link you to Amazon. And yeah, you just get on the mouth taping train. This is going to be the cool new thing. And if you do it and you take a selfie, tag us in it so we can see. I love the mouth taping selfies. That's going to be the cool new thing. Remember how planking was the thing and everybody would take pictures of planking? We're going to turn it into mouth taping. So the code is SUPSLEEP, SUPSLEEP, 10% off. Do your mouth taping.
Cool. All right, guys. We're actually going to include Kelly in our questions today. We have a couple questions. We're really excited because, as you can tell, Kelly has an experience of her own, like with food, with orthorexic type stuff. And sometimes it's good to get an outside opinion. And I think she's going to give a lot of great advice today. So let's get into our questions. This is from Erica. She's 25. And she said, what is your guys' experience and or thoughts on not exercising at all during eating disorder recovery? I'm in recovery from anorexia turned orthorexia and at a healthier weight, but my therapist wants me to cut out all forms of exercise. I went to the doctor and my heart is okay, my blood levels are okay, my BMI is okay, but I'm still experiencing low sugar attacks, dizziness, and amenorrhea. As a person who is raised to exercise every single day and sitting at a desk all day, it's super hard physically and mentally. To add to how hard it was, social media, Fitspos, and everyone preaching balance when I can't even have balance makes it that much harder. Have you guys ever had to deal with not working out at all? Love your show. She says she typically worked out about 5 days a week, lifting and cardio with some active hiking and stuff on weekends. She does walks during lunch break about 20 minutes a day. She's mostly paleo with no grains or gluten, which is part of my orthorexia, so I want to try and add some of those in. She says, only foods I eat that are not paleo are Greek yogurt almost daily and edamame on occasion. So personally, I never struggled with anorexia and or like losing my period. So I'd like to hear, like, Kelly, what you have to say.
I've definitely struggled with overworking out and losing my period.
Why don't you give a little context of your history of over-exercising? Because we didn't really talk about that. So maybe just share a little bit of that context.
So once I stopped volleyball because of my brain injury and was able to work out again like a year later, I definitely was like, whoa, I missed this so much. I got to get back in shape. So I'm going to do all the things one day. So I'll just do like cardio, weightlifting. I was in the gym all day long, like every day. And I was like, hashtag no days off, you know? And then I was like so tired all the time. And I was like getting so tiny. I wasn't getting stronger. I didn't look good. I wasn't healthy. And so like that with like the perfectionism in my mind, it just really did not do good things for me. So I get where like you're coming from here and like feeling like you need to work out all the time. That's a hard thing to come out of because I definitely had that mindset too. And I had to seriously downregulate what I was used to and quote, do things that were like easy or, you know, what you didn't think you should do, like yoga and stuff, especially just like walks, like easy stuff. Like you don't have to do this high intensity stuff all the time, especially if you're recovering from adrenal fatigue.
How did you make that mindset shift? If you know that you kind of you said it yourself, you know that you needed to do things that were a little bit easier for you, but you also said it was hard. Like imagine going from working out, you know, and lifting weights or doing whatever you're doing high intensity for years and years and then having to do nothing basically, or just do walks. Like how did you shift that in your head?
That was probably the hardest thing because it's hard to break a routine. And you just have to do it a little bit at a time and get used to it. So I would just, you know, take a rest day for the first time in months. And even though I felt like I was being lazy, eventually I like learned to love those rest days. And then even like working with someone, I was like working with a CrossFit private trainer, so it wasn't like the crazy CrossFits. And he told me, like, he limited me. He was like, no, you're not doing cardio anymore. And at first I was like very resistant, and I was like, I can't just not do cardio. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And he was like, no. And so it sucked at first to like not be able to do what I quote loved. But then you get used to it and you realize you feel so much better, like giving your body a break and like doing what's best for it.
Yeah, so I have experience in this situation too. And I think that one thing that helped me was, okay, this is the thing. It's okay and good to ask for support from people. I don't think I would have been able to quit exercising at that time without somebody basically ordering me to. So I remember the day that, you know, my nutritionist said no more exercising. And I'm going to like tell you exactly what happens so you don't feel lame if you feel like this, you know, because people say that I just quit exercising. It is not easy. I was crying. I was in that office crying because I didn't want to. And I look back now and I think I was such a, you know, I can't even believe myself. But this is how I felt. Like, I was sobbing. I was like, I can't not exercise, you know. And I went home and I called a bunch of my friends and I told them what happened, and I started making excuses, and I said, you know, she's telling me I can't exercise anymore. Don't you think that's just ridiculous? It's the only thing that calms me down. It's the only thing I like about my life. It's the only thing that relieves my stress, and I'm so stressed out, and they're telling me I need to reduce my stress, and this is, you know, I'm trying to make up excuses. Yeah. And my friend after friend is saying, no, Christina, I think you should stop. You know, like nobody was on my side, and I was just getting frustrated. So I'd hang up the phone and call someone else. And I was like, I think I was acting like a 5-year-old trying to argue my way out of this, right? And after I realized no one was going to be on my side, I just sat there and cried. And I was like, okay, I'll figure out what I'm doing tomorrow. And the next day I was super anxious. I was super anxious all day. And when it came workout time, I said, okay, I'm not going to do my normal workouts, which was at the time weight training. And I turned on yoga videos, and I took up the same amount of time to just do yoga videos. And then after that, basically what helped me was replacing that time, like with something else that I felt I would still get in my workout clothes, and I still kept that hour. But first it was for me switching to yoga. And then I realized how much better I felt after about a week of just not working out. And then it turned into like, I did more of just stretching, and then it moved into, I just replaced it with meditation after some time. And I was doing that for a while, and that was how I had to cut it out. But like we sit here and we say you have to just stop exercising, and it sounds much easier than it is, but it is really hard. It can be anxious for me. And I think it depends what kind of person you are. For me, I know like I had to kind of just like quit cold turkey kind of and deal with the discomfort at first and cry it out, you know, and just deal with, you know, and that's also hard to face itself when you realize you start to feel bad. You think, I can't believe this is making me so uncomfortable. And then you get more upset about it, you know?
And it's interesting because her question was like, do you think that we need to cut out exercise completely? Like that's basically was her question. And I don't know like personally what you're going through, but my philosophy is I don't think you need to completely cut it out. I think you just need to focus, like reframe the way you are thinking about exercise right now, because I'm reading like some of the stuff in your question. You said you still get like dizziness, you have low sugar attacks, you have amenorrhea, and those are health problems. And you're probably not exercising from a viewpoint of health right now. You're probably still exercising from a viewpoint of like, I don't know what it is. I need to burn off my food. You know, I need to be fit. I need to lose weight, all that stuff. It looks like you're following some Fitspo people on Instagram. So you probably still have that mindset. And personally, I would do my best to reframe how you think about exercise towards health. So what exercise is going to promote health for you? What exercise is going to help you with low sugar attacks? Because exercise can definitely contribute to hypoglycemia, especially if you're not feeding yourself accurately, and dizziness and amenorrhea, all of that. Too much exercise can contribute to that. So what exercise can you do that's going to make you healthier? That's typically walking, yoga, low impact type stuff where it's almost like meditative and flowy for you. So think of it that way. I don't think it's necessary to completely stop doing everything unless you feel like you need time for complete rest. You just need to chill out completely. But movement in itself is super important just for being healthy. So if you can get movement in and focus on that instead of like weights, must do cardio kind of thing, I think that would help change your mindset a little as well.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, I probably couldn't have just cut it out cold turkey because I'm very type A. Like, if I sit at home all day, I'm going to go insane. So it was really good for me to, go on a walk, maybe take a yoga class, or just do something really, really slow, like with my private.
Easy yoga.
Oh yeah, like not like the crazy core power where you have weights and stuff, like the stuff where you're like in downward dog and then like breathing yoga, stuff like that. Something that's just like good on your body and just taking it slow. So it's like, it's not like you're cutting out stuff. You're just doing different stuff that's good for you right now.
I really like yoga with Adrienne. She has some really good restorative yoga. Yeah. But one thing I do want to say is like understanding, and only you can know this for yourself, is if you feel like you have an exercise addiction, which I don't know if you feel like that from this question, you might not have an actual, we were kind of talking about this earlier in the context of food. I just don't think we shouldn't feel addicted to any one thing. So I think that if you feel like you might be struggling with an addiction, then it might be good in terms of your mental health to cut out for a certain period of time just to prove to yourself you can survive without it. If that's not the issue, then I totally agree with what they're saying because your BMI is okay. If anybody's listening to this and your BMI is not where it should be, this is where, we don't know your exact situation. If this person was still trying to gain more weight, then I would say maybe they would want to quit all exercise for a time being. And you have to remember, like, what you're doing right now, this week, this month, doesn't mean you're doing this for the rest of your life. That doesn't mean that you can't start working out more after you overcome these health issues. But you have amenorrhea, these low sugar attacks, dizziness. So your body is under stress and your body is trying to heal. And we have to remember that every type of stress affects our body. So exercise is a form of stress on the body, which is why what Kara was saying about doing low stress exercise is ideal. So your body is busy trying to fix itself internally. We don't want to be adding so much else so that it can't focus on that, especially with this amenorrhea component.
And another thing is you don't need to be afraid about not working out because if you're paleo or listening to this podcast, you're healthy. You're putting the best things in your body. And like, that's all that matters at the end of the day is like putting the nutrients in that are good for you. So it's not like you're recovering by eating like all the crazy things. Like you're recovering in a way that where you're eating the best things that are going to heal your body.
That's a really good point. And that's like you're doing a lot for your body as well. Like you're pretty much doing everything you can for your body. But aside from that, like, girl, you got to stop following these social media Fitspo people. If your goal is to be healthy and like break your anorexia, orthorexia, quote unquote, exercise addiction, you got to stop following those types of people. You have to feed your mind as well as your body. They do not disconnect. You have to do both. So maybe take a social media break altogether, or just seriously go through and like ask yourself, like look at that picture of that person that you're following and be like, do I really follow this person because I like what they have to say? Or like, does this make me feel like crap for not exercising? And if it makes you feel bad about the way that you exercise, unfollow them. Just please unfollow them and then replace that with other people that lift you up and like preach whatever message that you need, like low intensity exercise or people in recovery. Like go find people that really inspire you and follow them, because you can't like go about eating all of these great foods and then having your mindset of like, I'm only going to exercise a little bit, but then get on Instagram and see the complete opposite. You're just going to be feeling like you're butting heads with yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that I definitely had to do when I was overcoming this. I unfollowed every single fitness person. I was very into like the bro bodybuilder style stuff. So I had to unfollow everybody. And at the time, the majority of the blogs I was reading were fitness inspired or had some fitness component. I just stopped reading all blogs, and I also changed who I hung out with. So a lot of my friends who were really into fitness, I just kind of pulled back, and I just didn't want to think about it anymore. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. And I hung out with people who had way different interests. Like I was going to see a lot of movies and going to the mall and shop. I kind of just like switched. I was trying to not think about food or working out at all. So just paying attention to what is in your environment, like Kara said. And another thing though, it sounds like you're working with somebody, and like, I can't tell you how much it helped me to just surrender, to like trust in the person I was working with. And this comes down to making sure you're working with somebody who you do fully trust. But if you are, it kind of helps just say, for me, it helped me to just say, okay, I'm just going to trust this person, that they know what's best for me right now. And I'm just going to do what they say. Because it's much easier to take direction from someone else than it is from yourself.
In the beginning, I think that's actually really important, because usually if you're in this sort of position, you kind of like don't know who you are. Like you don't really know a lot about yourself. You're not really in touch with your body or your mind or anything like that. And sometimes it is important to just listen to what somebody else has to say and just do it. Like if you went to the doctor, you would do what they said. If he said you have to take this pill or whatever, you would surrender, you would do it, and maybe you would feel better, But sometimes it's good to just let somebody tell you what to do, someone credible, and you actually start to learn more about yourself in the process. Like listening to others can actually help you get in touch with who you are. Of course, we can take that to an extreme, but I'm saying like in this beginning phase, it can be really important.
But the key is that you're listening to this one person who is qualified, who you trust completely, not the random million voices on the internet. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Half of them are lying. Half of them aren't even healthy. Just, you got to put your blinders on. Just focus on yourself. Focus on what the professional in front of you is telling you. And I think that would help a lot. Kelly, do you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think that I totally agree with putting your trust in someone. Like when I did that with my trainer, I like hated him for a minute because he was like, you can't do these things. But then, slowly I was like, okay, this makes sense. And slowly when I was like gaining muscle and didn't feel weak and tired anymore, and like a cardio bunny on a treadmill all the time, I understood more. And then that helps overall.
One other thing that helped me, I just want to put out there in case anyone else is going through this, is, I was very open with my friends of what was going on. I was calling them, trying to tell them, why can't I exercise? And I had friends who were super supportive and helpful. And they said, if you need, we will take that. I will hang out with you every day that hour. So I'm making sure you're not, like, we will do something else, and the more you are around people, it helps because they're watching you, so my friends would take me, we'd go to the mall, we'd go to the movies, we'd paint our nails, they would keep me busy. So that can help as well. So if there's somebody you confide in your life, if you have a significant other, a family member, a friend who knows what's going on, you're comfortable with, you can be like, hey, I need to like cut down on things and I kind of need someone to hold me accountable and just keep me busy. Can we hang out every day at this time? That can help a lot.
Cool. Well, I think, do we cover everything?
Yeah.
We good? Okay, sweet. We're going to move on to the next question. Kelly, why don't you read it?
Yeah. So this question's from Amanda. She's 20 and she asks, I've come a long way in my healthy journey from eating all the wrong things to eating very little to eating way too much and completely destroying my digestive health. Fast forward today, after working with a functional medicine doctor and healing my gut, I have gained a healthy amount of weight and learned what foods make me feel good, not so good. And the only problem I can't seem to fix is regulating my hunger and learning proper portions. Because of my health issues, all I was focused on was getting back to healthy weight and meant making sure that I was eating even though I may not be hungry. My health was the priority then and still is, but I cannot seem to pick up my hunger cues or learn good portions. So how do you reset your hunger? And then she also said that she eats very paleo, but not all the time. And she likes to eat real whole foods, lots of high quality fats, proteins. And usually every other day she'll have some fruit just because she loves it and can tell that her body wants it, which is good. and she sleeps 6 to 8 hours. Exercises include yoga, bar, walking, and occasional HIIT. And she takes the supplements that are pre and probiotics from the silver fern. And a good probiotic is what her doctor recommended to her. What else?
Mostly paleo.
She's mostly paleo. And also eats a ton of non-starchy vegetables. This girl sounds like Christina.
She goes like maybe as much, if not more than Christina. Not possible. Sorry. No. So that may not be more than enough carbohydrates in typical paleo. No. She goes, I just don't know how to learn how much will satisfy the hunger or will satiate me because I'm having trouble getting back to normal and a normal eating schedule. I don't want to fall back into bad habits, but I do want to address this issue and ask you guys for your opinion in case anyone else out there is struggling with something similar. I'll put this one out there. Okay. I don't know if you guys will have the same opinion as me. I think that this is a situation when you need to work with somebody who can just tell you what is a good amount of food, because everybody on the internet is full of crap. And they give you, don't even get me started. I think for me, when you don't have hunger signals, you kind of need to be eating according to a schedule and just kind of following a template. And to know what that template should be for your body is when you work with somebody in particular. So if that means working with an NTP or I go over this in my program, my Paleo Women Lifestyle program, which you can sign up for. Like we go over what good portion sizes are supposed to be, and kind of what helped me get through this is you eat according to this template for a while that somebody's given you, somebody you trust, and over time that kind of helps to reset your hunger signals and your body learns to know how much it should be getting. And then it just kind of helps even things out eventually. And then your hunger signals do slowly over time get more on track and you get more in tune of like, oh, I need more protein, I need more fat, I need more veggies. But at the beginning it is hard. You kind of just don't know. So you need a baseline to start from and then you adjust from there. And this is a time where I think you need to find someone who you trust, who's qualified to give you a good answer. And I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
And I think that's a really good idea. Like getting on a schedule of when you should eat and what you should eat. Like I know it helped me to have 3 square meals a day. I mean, if I was hungry, I would eat snacks too, but I would make sure to get, the sufficient amount of proteins and fats and stuff that would fill me up. And I know that was like helping my body, and to eat, on a schedule. Like I'd still even do this now because I feel like I trained my body to like, now I feel the hunger signals, but they come at the times when I'm like expected to eat. So slowly you get to feel like hungry again. And then like with portions, I'm a fan of eating until you're full. Well, not like full, like stuffed full, but like satisfied. And so you should be eating all the healthy things that you can get your hands on, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The 3 square meal a day thing, I really relate to this question a lot because like, I don't know, I struggled a lot with the gut issues and then like with under eating, and still kind of struggle with under eating, but like sometimes I just don't, I understand what you mean. Like I'll eat 3 meals a day, but sometimes I feel like I'm eating when I'm not hungry. And that's kind of like weird. Like it's weird to be like, I'm not hungry right now, but I know I should be eating lunch, and I'm going to eat lunch anyway. So I know what it's like to have that feeling. And honestly, like every day though kind of is different. Like you have to remember that every day we're doing different things. So our quote unquote calorie needs are going to be different. Our hunger signals are going to be different. If we're stressed out, if we're super stressed out on a particular day, we're probably going to be more hungry than usual. But if you're like chronically not hungry, that's probably a good sign that you have a history of under eating or that you have a history of gut issues. It sounds like though you're actually in a really good place. Like it sounds like you've come out kind of your gut issues, but I noticed that a lingering side effect of for some people of having gut issues is that like their hunger signals are off. Like they don't know when they're hungry anymore. I've seen both extremes. Like people are hungry all the time either, or like they just can't tell when they're hungry anymore. And I know a lot of people that are in that same position. So you may just have to kind of keep pushing through and doing that same 3 square meals a day, generally around the same time. And you may have to stick to that for a while, because even if you've been working on fixing your gut for a while and you feel like you're in a good place, like there still may be some lingering things going on, and it may take your body a little bit of time to re-recognize where your hunger signals are and what's appropriate. But it's also important to keep in mind that your hunger may change on a given day. So if you feel like you need more food one day, eat more food. And honestly, if you feel like you don't need more food one day, like you seriously, like eating sounds disgusting to you, like then don't do it. Like I don't think that you need to force feed yourself. And if you're in your specific position, I don't feel like you need to force feed yourself too much food, but definitely get those 3 square meals a day so you can get your hunger signals back on track and know it will take time.
And another thing with fixing like hunger signals, I've personally experienced, and like a lot of people I see, is if yours is messed up and stuff, that if you just start eating like routinely, you'll get hungrier over time. Yeah, like I went to eating like not that much calories, and now I'm like ravenously eating huge meals every time. And especially it would be good to work with someone, because with portions, with real foods, you have to eat so much more than you think you do. Like I eat so many vegetables and healthy fats and proteins, and you just have to eat way more, especially if you're eating only 3 meals a day.
Yeah, I second everything they just said. I also want to touch more on the mindset piece, because this was also hard for me at first too. And I mean, for me, I did feel like I was force feeding myself, but I needed to at that point because I was so out of touch with my hunger signals. Like I think that you need to be having at least 3 square meals a day. And then once you start to get more in tune with your hunger signals, then you can start to tell, okay, maybe I don't need as much food right now. But I think you have to get to that baseline first. And for me with the mindset thing, I was very uncomfortable with it because I was coming from a place where I was just never hungry. Opposite now. But I had to flip the way I thought about it. And I do this a lot with my clients, and I tell them, we're making your food your prescription. So if you went to the doctor and they said you have to take this cough medicine and it tastes like crap, you would still just down it because you got to take it, right? This is the same with food. So this is just your prescription, and you have to think of food as your medicine, and this is what's going to heal you. And you might be uncomfortable with it right now. It might not be the best, but how lucky are you that your prescription gets to be something that can taste really good? Like how lucky are you that, we have to understand that we live in a time where food is almost demonized. Like we feel guilty for wanting a lot of food, for eating a lot of food. A lot of us have come from the space where food is something to be feared, and it's not. And it's about flipping that switch and realizing that food is nourishment. It's nourishing my body. I'm healing my body. I love my body, so I'm giving my body this, right? So thinking of food as your prescription, and that, there are so many people who would be so jealous that you get to eat all the food you want as your prescription, Like, let's just embrace that. Like, now is the time. Now make the paleo pancakes, or the not paleo pancakes. Just nourish your body and think of that food as it's not bad. It's your prescription. And I would rather have that prescription than any other one.
Yeah. And with me, I know I try to make every meal taste like the best meal I'll ever have. Yeah. And so that helps me with hunger signals, because if I'm making some dank food, I get hungry even if I wasn't hungry before, because it's going to taste so bomb. So like being creative, mixing it up so it's not just like boring, healthy, steamed broccoli and chicken every day. Like do the fun things that you probably wouldn't have before to make food fun again.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Like when you said that, I was like, heck yeah. Like I want all my meals to taste like super good. I do have a sort of practical tip here for resetting hunger signals. So eating carbohydrates, particularly starches at night, have actually been shown to help reset your hunger signals for the next day. So you said that you eat like fruit and stuff like that. But particularly like eating a starch with your dinner has been shown to actually help your hunger signals in the morning. Like particularly like when I eat sweet potatoes for dinner, I usually actually wake up hungry, like which never happens for me. Like in the past when I was eating lower carb and just non-starchy vegetables, I'd wake up and I wouldn't want to eat for the first like 3 hours. I would never be hungry. But when I included a starch with my dinner, I wake up and I'm like, I'm ready for breakfast. And that's a really good way to start your day. Like there's like a big debate on like if you should wake up hungry, like I feel like or not. But personally, if I wake up and 30 minutes to an hour later, I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, like I'm ready to eat. That's a good start to my day because I know I'm going to be eating lunch and I know I'm going to be eating dinner. Like just that's for me a good tip.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip. And going off of that, just like throughout your whole day, make sure that you are including all of the macronutrients so that your body like knows it's going to get all of them. And I know you eat a ton of veggies and I see this a lot. I hope that you're cooking them all in oil. If you're just having a ton of veggies that don't have oil, that's not doing you any favors at all. You're not getting the nutritional benefits, but also, of course, you're not going to ever feel full. That can really mess with your hunger signals, which it comes back to another thing I want to talk about is a lot of people are still doing these sort of diety hacks that they don't even realize are diety. So if you're just filling your stomach with volume with non-starchy vegetables that don't have any oil or anything, to get actual calories in, that's a trick on your body and can screw with your hunger signals because it's confused because it's thinking, okay, I'm stretched out. I should be full, but I don't have, my caloric needs met. So that's very confusing to our bodies. And another one that I see really commonly is drinking way too much water. Girls will come to me and they'll be like, I'm never hungry. And I say, well, you're drinking twice the amount of water you should be drinking. So take your body weight in pounds, cut that number in half. So divide by 2, whatever that is in ounces should be what you're drinking. Aim for that amount. If you are way over that, that could be messing with your hunger signals as well. And even the opposite, if you have the opposite problem, some people who aren't drinking any water, they're just thirsty and they need that. And also make sure you're using salt on your food. You really need the minerals. And that's another huge one that can just help. We want to make sure that we're giving our body everything it needs. Do you have any last tips?
Yeah, going off of putting the right oils and fats on your vegetables. First of all, you get to absorb the nutrients way better. And second of all, that's a good way to add a lot of, nutrients, calories without being overstuffed, or it'll help you remain hungry and stuff too. And salt and fat are flavor, so add it liberously.
Yeah. And this is just something I randomly thought of. Also, I don't know if you're like bloated or not, but I know that when I'm bloated, personally, I'm never hungry or like I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to eat because I know you said you have a history of like gut issues and you're taking a probiotic, which usually tells me that you're probably bloated, like the majority of women. And when I'm super bloated, I don't want to eat, but you have to eat anyways. Okay. Like that's in one case that like you need to eat anyways. Even if you're bloated, you still have to eat. It doesn't matter. Like,
In fact, and this is if you look at statistics, so most people with gut issues are undereating. But the thing is, when you undereat, that can cause bloat as well. So think about, we see images of people in third world countries who aren't getting enough food and they have those really bloated bellies. It can happen. So you don't want to even make the problem worse.
And I don't know if you're like snacking or not and you're bloated, but like snacking can actually increase your bloating, especially if you're snacking on like fruit and stuff like that, which you may be because you say you eat a lot of fruit. And then that can make you feel even more uncomfortable and then you don't want to eat your dinner. So literally 3 meals a day, like everything that we said, super basic. Balance your macros, get what you need, and that will help you immensely.
Yeah, and if you find that you're hungry beyond the 3 meals, it's definitely eat more, definitely snack. So that is that. Do you guys have any other tips? Cool. Well, should we wrap it up from here? Okay, I do. I realized I forgot to talk about this at the beginning, but I am opening up signups for my Paleo Women Lifestyle Program on April 9th. And if you are interested, you don't even have to be planning on switching to paleo. You can already be eating paleo. I have women in there who have been eating paleo for years. I have people who eat a standard American diet and they don't even end up making the switch. They just want all the information, and then later on maybe they can come back to it. But you get 5 weeks worth of material from me. So there's audio lectures and video lectures. You get weekly PDFs, and then you have access to the private Facebook group where we just share a lot of information, talk about weird studies we see. We share recipe ideas, all of that stuff, and troubleshoot health issues, ask each other anything we want. And then live video coaching calls. So we hop on Zoom. It's really fun. We all see each other. We chat. We have a little girl talk, gossip. No, just kidding. Not really. But it's a lot of fun. You make lifelong friends. I've become really close with all the women in it. And you will get a lot of nutritional information. You'll learn all about portion sizes. But also we talk all about just having a healthy lifestyle. So exercise and stress management and hacking sleep and balancing hormones and what to do with family and friends. And we all support each other and provide that accountability factor, which is why I love the program so much, because, you know, people will post, say, I'm telling you guys I'm doing this just to hold myself accountable, and we can all cheer each other on. And we have a sleep thing going on right now. We're holding each other all accountable to our bedtimes because we're all trying to get to bed early. It's really helpful just to have that group support. And, you know, if you're in this space, I think a lot of people listening to podcasts are in this space, and you kind of feel like you're the Lone Ranger. You don't have that many people around you who get it. This is where you can meet your tribe. You can become best friends with people. So it's a lot of fun, and opens April 9th. And you also will have lifetime access to everything. So once you're in the group, you're in the program, and you can sign up on my website. I don't know how long it'll be open for. Definitely no more than a week. But if the spots fill up, then I'm just going to cap it off, because I only take a certain number of girls because I want to get to know everybody. So if you're interested in joining that, you can go to bit.ly/paleo women lifestyle. That'll open up April 9th, and class starts April 16th, I think, that whatever that week is. So I'm very excited. I know Kara has an announcement too.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, Christina, cares a lot about her clients. And I know it's something she really prides herself in, is really caring and giving a lot of attention to her clients. So, I mean, I hang out with her in person. She talks about how much she loves her clients and how much she cares about them. So it's not a waste of money. It's definitely something that you will get a lot out of if you become a part of the program. Just wanted to throw that out there. But so yeah, guys, I actually launched my website. It's just so, I don't even know. You guys, I'm bad at technology, and we were just sitting here. I was like, F it, I'm launching it. So yeah, you can actually go to my website now, careaboutit.com, and I have some mega old blog posts that you can reread if you've already read them. And I also put out my free ebook. It's called the Belief Buster Cheat Sheet. So I talk a lot about mindset on here, and I've recently really realized that's my jam. Mindset, spirituality, and combining that with your food. Really, it's just the recipe to making yourself as healthy as you can possibly be. And I created the Belief Buster Cheat Sheet because we all have old beliefs that were formed when we were super young that we probably don't even know are running in our head, but they're holding us back. They're holding us back from being the healthiest, most happiest person that we can be. And I just wrote a little 10-page, it's not even a sheet, it's a freaking 10-page little guide of some of my top tips on how to reframe your beliefs. Off of that, if you read that and you're I want more, I'm also now taking a couple mindset clients as well. So if you're wanting to get some more individualized approach and you have some beliefs that need help, or you want to get more in touch with your body, your mind, and your spirit, then I recommend coming to me and just email me at kara.halderman@gmail.com. Send me a DM, whatever, but you can go check out my site. I kind of plan on doing some blog posts here and there because I do have some stuff I want to talk about. Instagram is not really my main forte right now. I'm taking a little break, and I just want to put more energy into podcasting and my website. So just go there if you want to reach me, and let me know how you like my cheat sheet.
Yeah, and so Kara doesn't talk about it, but you have to understand that Kara has been studying all of these techniques for her whole entire life. This is her area of expertise, and she doesn't really I always tell her, you need to talk about this more because people don't understand how much you study. She spends every week, like every weekend, she's at these, she just knows so much stuff. And even last night, she was doing energy clearing on us and really understands all of this stuff. And you have to understand that these mindset techniques and shifts, this isn't just, first of all, if you have a health issue, this can really transform the process, because a lot of the reason why people can't fully heal is because they can't make those shifts. Like, this is what's holding you back. But even if your health is fine, I don't know anybody who doesn't have a limiting belief that's not holding them back. So in business, in school, in relationships and friendships, this is what's holding you back in life. So this is something to consider.
Yeah. And it's like, it's funny because I don't talk about it and I'm not perfect. I know a lot of skills and like I can help others, but it's honestly still hard for me to help myself sometimes, which is funny because I don't talk about it a lot because I'm honestly scared of what people will think of me, because like, I don't know. I always thought I'm supposed to be like this food person, this health person, but really like my whole life I've been taking classes and seminars and stuff since I was probably 12. And my whole life, that's kind of what I've actually really loved. But now that I have food and nutrition, it's the perfect like way for me to combine everything and give your whole body health as well. So I'm kind of done like being scared about it. Like I just want to use my own techniques to like bust through my own beliefs now. And I'm ready to help others. Because like Christina said, you can do everything right food-wise. And you can make some amazing improvements. But if you don't get your mind right, and if you don't recognize that you are also like a spiritual, energetic being, I know that you may not believe in that, some people, but even understanding that can take you to the next level. So yeah, you'll hear probably a lot more about that from me. But we're good to go?
I just want to say thank you to Kelly for coming on. She's amazing.
Thank you. Y'all are the best. Like, working for y'all is a fun thing to do. It's not a job. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Also, Kelly's making us her paleo cheeseburger pie tonight. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I just like, I don't know. I love meeting people in person. I consider myself kind of like a hard person to open up to and like talk to people. I don't make friends very easily, but like Christina and Kelly are some of the coolest people I know. And I'm like super happy I got to meet Kelly in person. She's an awesome human being. So you like need to go follow her and make all of her food and like order nut butters from her, because her nut butters are absolutely to die for. I can't.
They are definitely amazing. So thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on. We'll have to have you back on the show. It'll be the best. And if you guys aren't already in our Facebook group, please join Straight Up Paleo Pals. We have some exciting announcements that we're going to be putting in there today. Kara, Kelly, and I are going to be planning some fun things, and we're going to be, I don't know. It's going to be exciting things coming in soon. So if you haven't already become a member, join Straight Up Paleo Pals. Leave a rating and review on iTunes. Tell everybody about the podcast. And we'll talk to you again next week.